The Congress is also sharpening its attack on the BJP-led government, calling the riots a result of administrative failure. BSP chief Mayawati, meanwhile, is comparing Haryana to Manipur. Listen in.
Situation on ground in Nu is still tense. The Supreme Court has put a stay on the procession that was set to be taken out. But do you think the state government should have intervened and ensured this doesn't happen?
As far as this incident is concerned, certainly it is a absolutely administrative failure on part of the state government. If the government had acted in time, the situation could have been avoided. There was no police deployment, there was no administration deployment along with this procession. That should have not happened. There was a lapse, and this even the statements by our deputy chief minister and our the local MP and central minister Rao Indrajit both have pointed to the administrative failure on part of the government.
सांप्रदायिक दंगा का भड़कना और इसका गुरुग्राम व अन्य क्षेत्रों में बिना रोक टोक फैल जाना तथा उस हिंसा में अनेकों लोगों के हताहत होने के साथ ही धार्मिक स्थल सहित लोगों की संपत्तियों की भारी हानि होने से ये साबित होता है कि मणिपुर की तरह ही हरियाणा राज्य में भी कानून व्यवस्था काफ़ी बुरी तरह से ध्वस्त है तथा वहाँ की सरकार का खुफिया तंत्र भी निष्क्रिय है जो ये हर प्रकार के अति दुखद दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण व काफ़ी चिंताजनक भी है.
A quick chat with my guest this evening. Prabhloch Singh is a political analyst joining us on the broadcast. Dolly Sharma is a Congress spokesperson. Vipin Pubby is a senior journalist. And Nirmal Kaur is a former IPS officer. I'm going to start with the journalist this evening because Kala Ramchandran, said something interesting. She's saying, don't blow. She's asking the media, essentially, Mr. Pubby, not to blow things out of proportion. She's saying that things are not as bad as being shown on social media and on Indian television. Do you really agree with that? I mean, this violence has played out for 48 days. 6 people are killed. 166 people have been arrested. We've seen pictures of vandalism and arson on our screens. Swords have come out. Guns have come out. Molotov cocktails have been at display over the weekend. Is it really the media that is exaggerating the picture on the ground?
In a general tendency to try to shoot the messenger. Whatever was shown on media was not made up. So far, it has not come to my notice that even there was a single fake video or a fake photograph that had come out in the last 2-3 days. Yes, I agree. Today, situation is much better. A lot of security forces have gone out, but there are thousands of questions. There are vital questions. I was just hearing on your show, the local deputy commissioner saying we had a all-party meeting on 27th. And both the groups were there and they were at the meeting. But what happened between the 27th and the 1st? And so many things happened, and these are all there for public notice. These are on social media. Monu Manasar and some Bajrangi, I think whatever his name, they came out with videos, very provocative videos, and saying that Monu Manasar said, I will be part of that. And then on top of it, you had all these threats coming and counter threats also coming in from the other community. So the situation was building up. Nobody can deny that in the next 2 or 3 days after that meeting, there had been a lot of change after the meeting was over, and so much of tension was building up. And suddenly the SSP goes on leave and no further deployment is made. And then you have these protesters coming in with guns, with swords, with all kind of weapons, and there's hardly any effort really to check that. Before the procession started, they should have made all these checks. So all these things happened, and as I said, they were all videos shot. So there is video evidence of whatever has happened. So the police officer who was saying it, she can't deny that this is wrong and that these videos were fake. She isn't saying that. So that means it was there in public knowledge, and there has been a big administrative failure in this whole thing. Whether there was, somebody's complicity in this or not will need to be found out. But let me make one more point, Shreya. that, it is not that these own guys, these police ballers or the other district magistrate or the state government can conduct an inquiry against its own wrongs. I think it has to be a judicial inquiry, a properly independent inquiry to fix responsibility in this case.
Nirmal Kaur, I don't know whether responsibility will get fixed. Responsibility never gets fixed. Look at Manipur. 160 people have died there already. 60,000 people have been displaced. Thousands have been injured. There is no responsibility or accountability that has been fixed till the Supreme Court steps in. But Nirmal Kaur, I'm not for a moment, like Mayawati, going to compare the situation in Haryana to Manipur. That would be completely unfair. But what will be fair to say, Nirmal Kaur, is that the administration and specifically the police was simply caught napping. You have these videos doing the rounds of a guy who was wanted in the killing of 2 Muslim men. He's saying, I'm going to be there, you be there. There's a counter threat that comes in from the other side, from the Muslim side. The entire environment is tense. You can see the build-up of what is to come during this rally. And yet eyewitnesses are saying that when this rally was being taken out on the streets of Nu, there were barely 2 police jeeps with policemen in it. Simply put, the police was not prepared despite all the signs of things turning sour being there 48 hours before the rally began.
See, ma'am, the thing is, where the incident has taken place is very much a part of Haryana. But Mewat region, which is basically where 80% or so Muslim population is, Mewat region it's on the border of 3 states, UP, Rajasthan and Haryana. Rajasthan, that Bharatpur Alwar area, UP, that Kami is in Rajasthan, Kosi cities in UP, Kami Kosi area, and here in Haryana, where Nu and this area. The problem is that it is administration, they had a peace committee meeting on 27th, and things look very fine according to the DC there, that things appear to be normal, things appear to be peaceful. And everyone, all the leaders of the community said, yes, they are welcome to do it, it will carry on. And then somehow, I think the social media, so many threats and counter threats now, as we read about them, kept getting issued. And it is also because of the region being on the confluence of these three borders, that suddenly the mob comes up. Maybe the new people are, they are calm enough, they are allowing, but suddenly people from other regions come. And, even this case which has taken place in which Monu Maheswar is an accused, that has basically been done by the Rajasthan police. That case of that cow vigilant, where the two, this Junaid and Nisar,
correct,
cousins,
correct. He is still on the run. And the Rajasthan police is looking for him. And here he is releasing videos, ma'am, saying that I'm going to be present in a rally.
Rajasthan is under a different regime. If you put it as somehow kind of a, Hindu-Muslim kind of a thing. Rajasthan government is Congress government. They should have by now been able to arrest him. If they've instituted an FIR and they have not gone ahead of that. They've instituted an FIR and they have not been able to catch him.
So here is a man, this is what I found. This is what I find interesting, that here is someone who is wanted by the Rajasthan police for murder. That one person, happily is releasing videos that perhaps became the spark of the violence that took place in Nu. Although he himself was not present, the police of Haryana has now clarified that Monu Maheswar was not present in that rally that was being taken out by the...
the whole thing is, before he posted, there were also challenges from the other side. When he joined this Bajrang Dal or whatever that organization, the others were really, they said, how can he join Bajrang Dal or this Vishwa Hindu Parishad or whichever organization he joined? I think he joined both of them. And then they said, how can he join? And Monu Maheswar is coming. Monu Maheswar is coming. Such a build-up was there. And then naturally, it was, a whole lot of this thing, which was invited. And Rajasthan police, UP police, Haryana police, they'll all need to act in consonance. They'll need to act in consonance to keep law and order in that area. Mewat, 1992 also riots had taken place. 1992 riots, if you remember. Then things became very peaceful. And Mewat Muslims are not like those very hard Muslims. The ladies wear siddur, the very Hindu custom. They wear bichia, that in the feet, the toe rings, which are like Suhag ki Nishani, the married women. They follow all these Hindu customs still. So they are not that rabid Muslims they were to begin with, even at independence time and all. But now there's a population explosion there. The population is going up much more rapidly. The birth rate is much higher than birth rate of the other community. So the population has become so large and unmanageable that this population demographic changes have also led to a lot of this damage in the social fabric, which is giving rise to these tensions, and tensions are. And the other thing is the community doesn't want to modernize. They don't want to educate their children, despite all the government schemes.
Yeah, give me a minute. Okay. Give me a minute here. I'm going to get in Prabhloch Singh, and in case any of you are wondering why we don't have a BJP representative on the show, an invite had gone out to the BJP, and then they decided that they don't want to participate in any debate on Haryana. But Prabhloch Singh, you're, correct me if I'm wrong, but you will be representing the BJP view here at least. It's all very well to say that this was a pre-planned conspiracy, and maybe it was. Who knows? Till a inquiry gets underway, and we have all facts at hand, we don't know. We can't dismiss what Manohar Lal Khattar is saying. Maybe this was a conspiracy, maybe this was organic, we don't know. Point is, if this was a conspiracy, and this is something that almost everyone who's been seeing the violence play out in Haryana is saying, if this was a conspiracy, boss, what were you doing? There was a build-up to what is going to happen. It shouldn't have come as a surprise. It came as a surprise. Your administration was caught napping.
Thank you, Shreya. So I'd like to make it clear, I wouldn't like to represent any political party's view. But in my own view, in my personal opinion, I think every citizen of India has the right to live with dignity. Okay? And that means that if anybody gives any provocative speeches, indulges in any violence, it's the state duty to tackle that. And the opposition parties also have to aid the government in making sure there is no arson, there is no riot in the state. Every citizen has the right to live with dignity. So I will not like to call it BJP's view or the opposition party's view or any political party's view. I think it's 2023 and riots, mob violence should be a thing of the past in our country. The people of this country, the progressive-minded people of this country deserve that those at the helm of affairs make sure there is no untoward incident on the streets, and also that the opposition parties don't make each and every such incident an opportunity for them to score brownie points. It's very sad. It's sad that whenever a riot takes place, all the opposition parties do is blame the ruling government. They do not give any valid suggestions. They do not partner with the government in taking care of the situation. And coming to our police forces, Shreya, we have a very robust law and order system now, but unfortunately in incidences like these, we see that, the cops are either overpowered or, we miscalculate the, what's coming our way. So it's very important for our police forces also to level up, for the challenges that they foresee. Now, in this case, like everybody says, there were provocative speeches being given, and anybody who gives any provocative speech should be either detained or, if and when required, should be arrested. There should be no two ways about it. And, you call it BJP's viewpoint or you call it, our PM's viewpoint or anybody's viewpoint. This will be my personal opinion. Thank you.
Okay. And here's the thing I will say. The fact is that, today the Supreme Court is saying, put a curb on hate speeches. The Chief Minister is saying, I will not tolerate hate speeches anymore. He should have said this before the violence began, when he knew there was a build-up happening in Nu. If there is a Hindu VHP Bajrang Dal rally that is going to make its way through Nu, which is a Muslim-dominated area, I mean, logically, you will anticipate trouble. Anyone with half a brain will anticipate trouble. And you should have anticipated the scale of trouble as well, given that this is an election year, right?
You're right.
Dolly Sharma, can I just get you in here on what?
Yeah.
What Prabhloch Singh? Prabhloch Singh, just give me a minute. Can I just get in Dolly Sharma?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Add one point and I'll get Dolly in.
Sure. So, Shreya, you're right. And the point here is, let's hope that those in power and the judiciary and everybody concerned does not take this incident as an isolated incident, and let's look at it holistically and let's come up with decisions. Let's, get into some concrete action on the ground so that such an incident is never repeated. Never, ever.
Dolly Sharma, would you want to come in here? The charge that comes from the citizens of this country is, ye dekho politicians ko. Manipur mein 160 people have died. What are our politicians doing in parliament? Tu tu mein. In Haryana, 6 people have died. Again, what are our politicians doing in Haryana? Tu tu mein. Is this the time for tu tu mein? Come up with constructive suggestions. Help the government try and control the situation instead of criticizing them on the day of the riot or the next day. If you have to criticize them a week later. But for the moment, let things cool down. Is that fair criticism that comes of our netas? And I'm not just talking about the Congress party here.
Yeah. Good evening, Shreya, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. See, actually, the main work of the opposition is to work as per the people of this country, to raise the issues that are happening in the country. So if the opposition is trying to do this, that does not mean that we are not doing a constructive politics. But the present government, who's failed completely in Manipur, failed completely in Haryana. We've seen administrative failure in Haryana. We've seen intelligence failure in Haryana. And you must have seen the SP who gave the permission of the procession. You also reported the same. And everybody in the entire country knows that he was on holiday on the day of procession. And we have seen multiple incidents happening. In Bareilly, there was one incident happening which was controlled by the SP of Prabhakar Chaudhary. And what was the price, that he paid to control those incidents? He was transferred. And the fellow, Varun Singla, who was not able to control, is still on the job. So you can understand how this government
what are you saying, Dolly
dealing
Sharma?
with the police
Are you
officers
saying that these...
No,
Dolly Sharma, what are you implying? Are you implying
the police officer,
that the violence in Nu... No, speak clearly, Dolly.
Yeah, I'm clearly
Are you saying that the violence in Nu was allowed to go out of hand deliberately by the Haryana police and administration? Is that the charge you are making? That they were in a position to control it but didn't because of political dividends it would pay in 2024?
Okay, give me 10 seconds. Let me complete. Okay. You have seen similar incident happening in Bareilly, Agra also, and there were many other places where we've seen similar incidents. But the police officer who controlled any mishappening or any incident like Nu would have happened in Bareilly also. But the police officer, Prabhakar Chaudhary, who controlled is transferred. And Varun Singla, who is not able to control, is still on his post. What is he doing? He gave the permission for the procession, right? And he was not there. He was absent on the day of procession. And the statements of the deputy CM, of the CM, of the local MP, you can very well judge. It was a total administrative failure. It is the failure of the double engine ki sarkar.
Vipin Pubby?
I would like to quote here Satpal Malik, who is not from Congress, who is not from any other party. He's from the BJP. And ex-governor, what he said, Nu clashes well coordinated, more such violence likely ahead of 2024 polls. This is, I am not saying. I am quoting
Vipin Pubby, do you see that happening? Okay. Okay, yes, Dolly. Satpal Malik has had a falling out with the BJP and Prime Minister Modi. But Mr. Pubby, do you see that happening? This is another conspiracy theory I'm hearing today. But do you see more of these incidents in the run-up to 2024?
Shreya, I am afraid, yes. I also apprehend that. And, what has happened in this particular incident is very, very significant. Even the BJP's own ally in Haryana, JJP, has spoken against this. Even a BJP MP has said that it's not all Rao Inderjit Singh. He has said that, it was deliberate, that it's a conspiracy. So so many people speaking about it means that there is, and even I don't find anyone in the public also who could say that, maybe it was not expected and didn't happen. Everyone knew about it. It was building up, and yet there was no step taken to control it, to screen the people who were there. And with elections just less than 10 months now, and even in Haryana, elections are due just after the Lok Sabha election. So the entire government and machinery is in election mode. And I'm afraid this is one of the things that you can't rule out, that this is a run-up for the elections. Their efforts are being made to vitiate the atmosphere. After all, why should these people carry arms and ammunition openly, and yet no action was taken. And political bosses also have to take a lot of responsibility. They were knowing what was happening. They remained
and they have
silent
questions
over
to
whatever
answer.
was happening in the state.
And they have questions to answer.
Lots
and they have questions to answer. You know, yes, the top priority is for the administration to calm things down. And one of the things we can say is that relatively there was calm in Haryana today. There was an incident in Gurugram, but relatively across Haryana, there was calm. But just to tell the administration and the police of Haryana, no, the media isn't exaggerating what is happening on the ground. What is happening on the ground is for everyone to see. And the statistics that you yourself have given us tell us what the story was all about. We'll leave it there for the moment. Vipin Pubby, thank you very much for joining us. Dolly Sharma, thank you very much. Prabhloch Singh, thanks very much. And I'm also going to thank Nirmal Kaur for joining us. With that, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. Up